Gold is one of the metals that is the softest and most malleable. It can be pressed extremely thin, shaped, and even drawn out to form a fine wire without breaking. Because gold is not affected by water or oxygen, as many metals are, it does not rust or tarnish. The majority of gold comes from lode deposits, also known as vein deposits, which are concentrations of gold and other metals in rock cracks. Hard rock mining is required for lode deposits. All refers to the process of removing gold-bearing rock. Drilling and blasting are used too. Miners descend more than half a kilometer underground. They use a long-hole air drill to drill holes for explosives. They drill in a specific pattern laid out in a mine engineer's plan. The engineers know exactly where the gold veins are because the mining company's geologists studied the ore samples. The samples are collected by drilling deep into the rock at 15-meter intervals. Diamond drill cores, as they are known, can be up to 100 meters long and 3.5 centimeters in diameter. Gold is not pure in its natural state. It is frequently entwined with silver or other metals. As a result, the mined ore must be processed afterward in order to isolate and extract the gold. A metric ton of ore yields only about 6.5 grams of gold. Miners use a mock machine to transfer ore to cars heading to the main shaft and then above ground to the mill after blasting the rock apart with explosives. A crusher there breaks down the large chunks into smaller rocks the size of gravel. They are then pulverized to the texture of beach sand in a mill. A water and cyanide solution is added by the factory. Another mill then grinds it into a mud-like pulp. This pulp is then pumped into large settling tanks. Wet solids sink to the bottom because they are heavier. The water at the top drains to a different location. Workers move the wet solids to an agitation tank and blow air into it. The oxygen initiates a chemical reaction between the cyanide and the trapped gold in the ore, causing the gold to dissolve and leach into the surrounding water. The water is then separated from the solids using drum filters. This water now joins the previously separated water. To solidify the dissolved gold, zinc powder is added. Smelt into bars, a chemical cocktail of manganese dioxide, fluoride, silica, flour, borax, and sodium nitrate must be prepared. This mixture, known as flux, will separate the gold from the impurities before being poured into the smelter, which is heated to 1600 degrees Celsius. The smelter is rotated for 2.5 hours to ensure that the contents heat evenly. The heavier gold eventually sinks, while the impurities, known as slag, float to the surface. The slag is dumped. A sample is taken to ensure that there is no gold present. If it does, it returns until it is gold-free. The gold has now cooled slightly, allowing them to reheat it to 1600 degrees Celsius before casting it into bar-shaped morgues. Gold takes about 4 minutes to solidify, then another hour to cool completely in a basin of cold water. The gold bars are removed from the molds and thoroughly cleaned of any slag residue. Ingots are another term for gold bars. The gold is 80% pure at this point. The gold will then be refined to 99.9%.